Hello YouTube, you already know what time it is. We're back with another 3D print video. This time we're going to make another deck box in the shape of a red toolbox. You can see that on your screen. This is going to be the inspiration. So fairly easy, I believe. We're just going to make, it into two different parts. The bottom part, the lid, and I guess the handle. We're going to also 3D print that. The hardware, the idea is to definitely use a latch and a hinge and bolt that on there and everything, so it's pretty legit. So first things first, what we have to do is measure out the width and height and thickness of a standard deck of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's about 60 plus cards, just kind of depends. So we're definitely going to make sure we have more than enough room for at least 60 cards. The idea is definitely to fit the cards in on their side instead of up and down, straight up, because on their side it's going to give us enough length on the box to actually give it that proportions where it actually looks like a red toolbox. It might not look or be at least proportionally the same as what you see on your screen, but definitely the deck box is going to be longer than it is taller. So with that being said, since it is a toolbox, I do also want to put some compartments on there so to have different functionality. Let whoever's going to use this put some dice or some coins or whatever you have, not just a deck box, so just a little something extra. The other thing we also want to do is, after we shell this out, we want to add some thickness to the walls, not just the 2.5 millimeters that you see here, but the hardware that we are going to be using needs to be bolted onto there. We're going to use some threaded heat inserts and have the bolts go through there, so we need to add more thickness. These bolts are like 10 millimeters long, so instead of making the walls 10 millimeters, I'm going to add these little sections where I intend for the latch and the hinge to go, as you can see that on your screen. So that's what those are going to be for. Might look a little wonky, but it's going to circumvent me having to make the wall 10 millimeters thick, which is just overkill. Cool, now that the bottom half of the deck box has been printed, I want to work on the little compartments. As I mentioned before, that left side of the deck box was left open so I can fit something inside. I intend for like two little compartments, two little boxes that hold different accessories in there. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! So it'll be a coin or some dice. And I have two of them. The only trick is I have to make sure that this is not too much of a tight fit. It has to have a little bit of wiggle room. I found that usually like 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter is good enough clearance on there, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to have this divider in the middle that will act as not only a divider, but somewhere where you can grab it with your fingers and lift it out if you need to. Very, very simple. It's literally just another box in a box. So now that the trays have finished printing, we can move on to the lid of the box. As for the lid, it should be self-explanatory, but I just have to make sure that the dimensions of the lid match the dimensions of the bottom half of it, at least the length and width of it. As far as the head of it, I can play around with that. I just want to make sure that it kind of looks proportional to the rest of everything else. The other thing to keep in mind is those extruded bodies that I am going to mount the latch to and the hinge to. Gotta make sure those are centered up. And after some quick measurements, I decided on how wide and tall they should be. So that's what you're going to be seeing here, just me dimensioning these. And I don't plan on making any holes on these because I don't have the solid models of the latch and hinge, so I don't know exactly where the placement's going to be. I'm just going to do this by hand and just drill out after I mark them with the hardware that I have. So it should be, like I said, pretty straightforward. I don't want to buy a handle to put on here, so we're going to design a handle. And first things first, we have to design where the handle is going to insert into. So I plan to make it kind of a flexible handle that you can just open up a little bit and then insert it into these holes. So I'm gonna quickly design these little spherical mounts where I'm gonna open up the inside with a hole and then just design the handle around that. So it's gonna come on from the outside, kind of like the picture we saw earlier. and you know, I don't want to bolt anything. It's just going to open, stretch out open, and then hook inside. Very, very basic. Now that it's time to design the handle, I'm just going to go with a very basic like elliptical design, just, you know, very basic handle shape looking thing. Not too much I want to do with it. I don't care about making it like ergonomic or even like making it look pretty. It just has to kind of look like a handle. So really the only tricky thing in my opinion is just making sure that it's long enough. So I just have to make sure I look at whatever dimensions of the space between the holes, and then also the gonna have, you know, a cylindrical part that will insert into the holes. So might take a couple tries to get that dimension properly or not, but that's really about it. It's just gonna be an easy black handle to like I said, stretch it out over the part and just have it insert there. I don't want to use any glue or anything like that. It'll have a little bit of play. And the other thing is I want to make sure you can I guess lay it flat onto the top of the lid too. So that's it. Now that we have all the parts printed out and all the hardware organized, we need to start putting in these heat inserts. Drilling some holes first since I didn't make the holes. So let's start off with that. Let's do the top of the lid where the latch is going to go. Start off with one heat insert. I'm going to do the next one as well. You got to make sure that these are really pressed in. Next, let's move on to the hinge part of it. It's going to go in the back over here and open like this. So first, let's mark up some holes before we drill them. Just make sure this is nice and centered. Heat insert time. I'm gonna skip ahead and not show the rest of the heat inserts. Let's screw on that latch. Give a nice little 360 of the part. Here it is. All the hardware on there. Time for the handle. Easy peasy. Let's put these trays in here as well. They should fit perfectly on there. 1, 2, yep. And there we have it. It's pretty much done. I just kind of skipped over putting the latch part of it, the bottom part of it, but you guys get the point. Let's take a look inside. Let's see the finished product. There we have it. A full 60 something card deck. Locked and loaded, ready to go. These trays, really easy to pull out. Put a die in there or just take them out and put something larger in there. And that's pretty much it. You know, thanks for watching. This is a pretty fun project to do. A little bit annoying to do with heat inserts. Kind of wish that I had the CAD files for everything so I can, you know, drill those, or not have to drill those out and just print the pieces with the holes in it. But overall, pretty fun. Thanks for watching.